Welcome back everybody to my channel. Hi, I'm Rizbut the Blade, your personal mining guru, and we're in the new year 2025, and it's time to start the new chapter in mining. As you all know, we get the PYRO 4.0, and now it's the biggest question if it's worth it to actually mining in PYRO in comparison to Stanton. And the answer is on that almost no. And I'm gonna explain you now why, and then I'm gonna show you how my mining in New Year started just after the midnight. And yes, we were mining. When we get Pyro, we get new system, new planets, new moons, and new locations. And we get just some few new materials, right? But with Pyro, we didn't get that improvement, when you're saying more risk, more reward. It's just more risk and reward is, maybe little bit yeah or sometimes no. It's a difference, that's the truth. But it's not some like big fortunes that you can mine and bring it to Stanton to sell. That's why I want to explain you all that, so you're not gonna be in delusion that you can make so abnormal much more in Pyro in comparison to Stanton. So what is actual difference and what we get with Pyro? These new materials what we get, it's also rare materials, same as Continuum, and even more rare. But unfortunately, their price is lower than Continuum. And automatically, this is not worth it to go, to hunt. If you run into that materials, normally you should mine them because they are worth it in comparison to tier 1 materials. But don't try to go to hunt them because you're gonna be disappointed. And now it's question, what is the deal with these new materials? Well, the thing is that these materials gonna play the big role when we get crafting and building in the game, because then these materials are not gonna be sold in cities, but gonna be sold by players who mine them to players who need them. And then the prices are gonna be through the roof. And this is how this is going to work in the favor of players who is actually gonna mine this stuff and these all materials. Because a lot of players were just, like PvPers or people who don't do any industrial things, they're gonna be in need of these materials for crafting, for guns, for weapons, for ships, components, for everything. And then you're gonna be the main dealer for that. So before I'm gonna show you my first run, which was, the best thing that you can get as a solo mining in Mole, which I did just 2 hours after the midnight when we entered the new year. And yes, we were mining and playing. I'm going to explain you a little bit prices so you're gonna understand, what's the difference now between these materials. So let's start. So first we have Continuum, right? Continuum, everybody knows about Continuum. Continuum is fuel for our quant drives for jumping. And this is the material which is the most worth it still in the game. Same as Pyro, same as Stanton. And the prices for Continuum is between like 20k to around 26k. It depends where you're selling. And now we get to new materials. So the most worth it one is Stealeron. And this material is going from around like 14k. It can go to like 18, 19 maybe. But usually it's around like 14 to 16, maybe 17k. It's also, depends where you're selling. But you need to understand that when you're filling up these materials in the ships now, you need to directly choose ship which you own in the refinery, and then it's gonna make the biggest boxes from that. So automatically, if the makes the biggest boxes, you cannot sell it anywhere else than in actual main cities in Stanton, right? So because of that, the price is actually around 14 15k. So that's actually average price. It's not 19k, which is the maximum. So second material, which is also new material, is Receipt. And this material, it goes for prices around 10 to 12, 12 and a half maybe, but it's around 10, 11 in the cities. And this is now basically the most rare material to find. So that's why, I was explaining that these materials have price, so it's no point to go for this than for Quantanium. It's only if you can use it and not just sell it, but for that we need to wait crafting and building. But it's still worth it to mine them, right? Just don't hunt them. That's the difference, what you need to understand. Don't hunt, but you should mine them because they're actually worth it. Now is the question, what happened to the tier 1 materials? Well, they get just a little bit changed, and this is that before Backslide, Terranite and Gold was around the same price, which was around like 7.5k, going with from 7.2 to 7.8, around that. But now they little bit increase the price of Terranite, but they decreases the prices of gold and Backslide. So now the main thing to mine price wise is Terranite. And this is because Terranite was buffed from around 7.5k to almost 10k, and you can actually sell it from 9k to this 10k in all the cities instant. And that means that you can actually earn, if it's pure Terranite in mall 100%, around 150k per load. That's a big difference if you're mining Terranite. So now Backslide and Gold are both 1k less worth it than before. So they were like around 7.5, now they're like 6.5, with gold even be a little bit worse. And this is the reason why you should not mine gold at all. But if you have some good rock, you should take it, right? But don't go for it. Always go for Terranite or Backslide, because Backslide just give you more ore, and Terranite is a huge price in comparison to all these three materials. So this is it about information about these materials, but I also want to share you something that I discovered through my old search and flying around in Pyro. Now we don't have data anymore, which can be provided from the, in-game information. So when I was searching on all these planets and moons to see what rock sizes we can find, actually the first rock that I found in the cluster in PYRO 1 moon was the biggest possible rock that you can find, and it was Quantanium rock. My personal record, what is concerned tons, right, the mass, how big the rocks are, what I found was 154.5 tons, and this rock was almost 153 tons. So with this information we can now confirm that PYRO 1 is basically new Lyria, because on Lyria and Stanton you can find, same as on Walla, the biggest rocks in Stanton, right, but it's concerned surface mining. And also it's not surprise that we can find the biggest rocks here, because the secondary material is tungsten, which is the worst material that you can find what is concerned density. But also you have secondary materials aluminum, same as Lyria again, which is one of the best ones, so you can get the most ore from the rocks which you're gonna mine. Great places for mining with Prospector are the moons of PYRO 5. So these moons have, smaller rocks, and it's also a lot of Quantanium there and other materials. So just visit these moons if you really wanna mine with Prospector. But what is concerned rock mining, you actually have now places where you can only find basically Hadanite all over the place. So this is actual improvement, which you guys who are love to do ROC mining, or if you want to say the vehicle, buggy, small truck mining, if you want to say it like that, mining gems, this is gonna be big improvement for you guys. So this is actual real improvement, because you have places in Pyro where you can strictly mine just Hadanite. So whatever you're gonna find, it's a gem Hadanite, it's nothing else. so you don't have to search too much. And one of these planets is PYRO 4. So if you go there, you're gonna definitely find Hadanite all over the place. So this is my experience in Pyro, and I wanna share this with all you guys in these first 10 minutes of the video. But now, let's show you how my new year started, just 2 hours after midnight. So you're gonna see what real mining is and what type of rocks you need to find and be able to mine with the right equipment. And you know how it's saying how your year is gonna start, it's gonna be the whole year like that. So I hope it's gonna be like that. So let's show you what I was mining. So let's show you our rock. So as you see here on the right monitor, it says 429 instability. So only already by that number you can know that this is definitely continuum. And you can see here that it's continuum doesn't have the biggest percentage, right? It's 35, aluminum have more. And now on these MFDs, whatever material is first has the most percentage. So only by looking at that, you can see already which is 1, 2, and 3 from highest percentage to lowest, right? So this is how they did it. So this is actually a pretty nice thing in the MFDs. And now you can see here, this is like a screenshot of that rock. And you can see that it's over 53 tons, which is something the highest that you can break, especially if it's continuum. And we have a best mix of materials inside, which is aluminum and inert. So aluminum has the best density. Density is playing very big role. I have that explaining in my previous videos, because they giving your primary material, which here is continuum, possibility to get more ore out than if you get some ore, like for example tungsten, which is the worst. One of these materials is also quartz, right? And titanium is very close. But one of new materials what we get in the game, it's tin. But here you can see we have a density of elements chart, which is a real life chart. And if you see here, if you put on aluminum, it says 2.7 density. So this density goes for the lowest to highest, right? And if we put on tin, you see tin is here, it's 7.3. So that's like 2.5 times more dense material in real life than aluminum. So if that's true in game, I don't know exactly, we need to test that, but we definitely gonna test. So in real life, tin has almost density like iron, the closest, which is some middle ground between worst densities and the best densities of materials. To get even better mix, you need to have that secondary material as the least as possible, and also inert materials, which we have here, the most as possible. And then you even get even better quantity for your primary ore, which is continuum here, out from this rock. So this what you see here is basically one of the best mixes that you can get in the game. It's like a jackpot that you find. Now is the time to equip our ship with what we need to, successfully do this task, which is breaking the rock. And for that we need modules and we need gadget on the rock. And for this type of breaking, which is basically the border of the maximum mass that you can do, you need to have the maximum power output and the maximum resistance drop. So with Surge and Stampede, this is these two active modules on the floor now, which I'm taking out. And with the Riger C3 module, you can very easily set up the maximum power output on the ship and to be able to break this rock. Even this rock is very questionable, that you can do it or not, and I'm gonna explain you that just in a bit. But the one more thing what is important is that why I was carrying out the module is that CIG still didn't fix that thing that you can drop your modules out of your backpack. So you need to carry them from the ship. So you need to drop them on the ship floor first and then carrying them out to put them on your mining head. And what I was doing here, I was just taking off and putting on back mining head, because sometimes passive modules, which is in here in this case like Riger, they know to not to work. So with this you're like resetting them. So always just put mining head off and on, and then you're good. And now here we are putting gadget on the rock, putting on the highest values on these 3 bars and activated it. And now we're ready to mine the rock. And now it's all prepared, now we can mine it. And in this case now we are on the PYRO 1 planet, and this planet has also a little bit wind. So what I did, I tried to set up ship so I can actually see the rock. So it's not moving my ship when I'm gonna mine, because when you have something like this to mine, what you see here, this is something that is not supposed to happening to you, because it's gonna change your instability, and it's gonna keep moving faster bar and slower up. So the reason that I can actually break this rock is because you see I'm a little bit moving my laser to find like a sweet spot, but you need to remember that sweet spot doesn't exist for the power. They only exist for the places where the rock is more unstable. So if you find a place where the rock is unstable more, this is gonna, you know, keep jumping your bar higher and higher. So it's not more power actually, it's just a place where rock is more unstable, which is more dangerous to mine, but it gives you like option that you can actually break this rock. This type of rock, what you see here, is basically maximum what you can do, because it will be very big question if this rock was like 45% Montanium inside, if I could break it, right? That makes like a huge difference, because the resistance is bigger, instability is bigger, everything is bigger, and it's very questionable I could ever like push the bar in the green zone at all. But like we see, I managed to push it up, and you see I'm a little bit overheating it, but it's cooling down, and now I'm letting it stay on the same percentage, and we managed to break it. If you manage to do that, you know that you're gonna bring home a lot of valuable material. Now the most hardest part of mining this rock is done, which is actually breaking it on smaller pieces. But now we need to set up again our laser for breaking smaller rocks. So for the helix laser, I have set up always Riger C3, one focus tree and one stampede. So this is my default on the front laser, and I'm just bringing that back because I exchange focus tree for the stampede, because we need bigger resistance drop and bigger power, and that's why we're gonna put focus tree back on, because focus is gonna give bigger green, because you need to understand that helix laser has 60% decrease in the green zone, and focus tree gives 40% increase. So even with focus tree, if you point your laser on the rock with helix laser, it's gonna still lower, even with that one focus tree, your green zone. So you need to have two to increase it, right? This is the correct numbers. But with one, I'm at least not decreasing so much this green zone, so it's, you know, much better option, right? And normally I'm putting stampede back, because sometimes even stones which are like 10 tones, 12 tones till 50 tones, and they're like very pure, right? Like 80%, 90, 100. You can't break them even with the helix, because the resistance is so big that you cannot push the bar. Now we're in our right laser, which is a host fed laser for big green zone, and this is for breaking, you know, second parts, because it has very low starting point in power. But you need to understand that this laser is not gonna be enough for some of these parts. for example, this one we can break because it has a half inert and it's half continuum, even more than half, and it's under 10 tons, it's almost 9, and you're gonna see that this one is going to go, but if I fill it up full, you see now it starts to go up. And I'm not using the Stampede module, which I have equipped here, so this is going without Stampede, right? This size, this combination of percentages, if you have continuum. So it's only one focus put on the HOSFET laser size 2 for the mold. And when we break this one, then you're gonna see that other one, it's not gonna go. I'm gonna try it, not even with Stampede on. So that means that we need to push ship closer and use the front helix one to break that. But this one here, it's not problem at all, right? So this one is gonna go, it's go very slowly with full power. So this is also like on the border if you using this setup without using any active modules, right? But this is pretty, you know, safe. Like one more thing like people don't know is that if you're on the border of your powers, you cannot go over and the bars go very slowly up. That means the bar is not gonna actually jump because you cannot, you know, squeeze it more. So this is actually like perfect example where you can see that with that maximum power, which you cannot go over that power, it's not gonna, you know, keep jumping bar very fast in the red, right? This is like a border, like a maximum. And now we're checking all these other rocks, and you see this one here, this is like 2 which are not even worth it, but we're gonna collect everything on the end. And we have here 2 with half almost, and this is the best one. So this one is that one which it's just not gonna go, you know. See, I'm reducing, but I know it's not gonna go, and I'm using the Stampede module, and it's not even, you know, moving bar a little bit up. So this is too weak, right? And I am basically on the almost perfect optimal range for this laser, but this is not gonna go. So we need to go in the helix and try with helix. But before we're gonna go into helix, I was just, you know, setting ship closer, and now I'm going back into HOSFET, which is on the right side, to just break these 2 rocks before I'm gonna go to helix, and that's that last piece, right? So you see here, because I want to show you that also 12 tons with using Stampede, right? So I have one Focus 3 and one Stampede active module. You can actually break, it's a 12 ton mass and it's 60% continuum with the rest aluminum, right? So this also goes. So you're gonna know some numbers, you know, what is possible and what is not possible, you know, what you need to have. Because this is very, very big pieces, even if they're, you know, already breaked once. So sometimes with Prospector you cannot break this type of pieces, you know, if you don't have right equipment. And now this one is again that part which is, you know, the best one, but you see it doesn't go. I was trying it again, but to find maybe some instability point, you know, like a sweet spot, but it was not going, it's just too much. But we can still break this one, and this one is not a problem because it has only 26% and rest is aluminum and inert. So this one can go very easily, and it's a huge green bar. So the less percentage of continuum you have, the green bar is gonna be bigger, right? Especially on the HOSFET laser. And you can see now the Stampede module fell off because it's over, but we don't need it anymore on this one. We're gonna need to change to Helix laser, and then we're gonna mine with that one, this bigger piece. So it's one more piece there which I'm gonna break on the end later, because I'm gonna see that we can collect everything. But this one here, we just can't, so we need to switch to Helix. Now in the Helix laser, we have equipped that Focus 3, Accuracy 3 and Stampede, but the bar is very tiny and we also have one more problem. These servers are start to have like hiccups, you know, delays. And I'm gonna manage to push it up. You're gonna see it's gonna be in the green bar, but this piece is just too valuable to lose. So I'm gonna try to break it, but on the end I'm not gonna have enough more stampedes, and then I'm gonna cook something else to actually get this piece, because you need to understand that this piece, it gives you like 400k, right, around that price. So that's too much to lose, right, with this thing. And you see, now I was trying only laser without stampede, and now I'm reducing and pushing stampede active module, and now you see the bar is going slowly up, and now I'm searching again for the most unstable part to give me even more boost in the bar jumping up, and now I found it here. You see, it's this one. So if you don't find this on time, you're not gonna have enough stampede pushes, which is like 7, right? 7 times you can turn it on to actually finish this braking. So bar needs to go pretty fast up, and then you slow it down, and then you try to brake. But in this case, you see how the green line is thin, and I'm gonna actually manage to do it, right? To keep it, you know, a little bit overheated, a little bit cooling. You know, I can do this stuff, but it's not worth it if the, you know, server is not good, right? So you always need to have one more card in your sleeve for these type of things, because this is really not worth it to lose, especially if somebody who's just starting to mine. If they have mold, you don't have money, right? It was wipe. This is big fortune to have from the beginning, right? So I already mined a lot of rocks before this one in this new patch, but you know, I'm actually explaining that this is really not worth it to lose. So you see, I'm managing to pushing it, and you see how my ship is going up. And that moment I was just nope, that is not supposed to happen, and it's gonna push my bar to the red full if that is gonna be big delay or something like that, right? So I'm still trying, but I was thinking, nope, we're not gonna break it like that, so we're gonna cook something else. So we're gonna show you now what that is going to be. Now we are putting out again modules, and I'm also preparing already for collecting, and as you guys saw, it was over 20% of inert. So what I'm putting now, the new stampede module on, this one, and then I'm gonna put two LTR modules on my left laser, which is Arbor, you know, the default one. So I'm gonna be collecting later with this. So it's gonna keep filtering completely out, or almost completely, the whole inert materials. So to not go once more time out, I'm gonna just set it up now. And this focus, the 3 module, what you see here, which I have from before when I was mining something, I'm gonna put on the front laser, and I'm gonna remove the Riger C3, which is for the 20%, 25% more power, right? So I'm gonna actually even reduce the power, and with focus 3 I'm gonna reduce the power, but I'm gonna put Sabir gadget on that piece. And yes, you can do that. You can also put gadgets which are gonna work on the second breaks, not just when you're breaking the stone, when it's a one whole thing. And with this mix of you know, modules and gadget on the rock, I'm gonna get actually, to be able to break the rock, you're gonna push the bar easier, and I'm gonna have the biggest possible green zone that I can get. I could actually put also that stampede module away because I'm not gonna actually use it. But I put it there just in case if it's not going to go, right? Because we are now reducing the power because we removed the rigger. So it could be possibility that we're gonna need it, right? That's why I always have stampede modules. And why it's always stampede and not surge, it's because stampede is reducing instability more and surge is increasing instability. So surge is gonna give more power and more resistance drop, which is the best thing you can get for bigger pieces. But it's increasing instability, and you always need to think about that instability needs to be the lowest as possible for, you know, the perfect safe mining. But now we encounter some other problem, and this is when you're putting gadgets on the parts which are already braked once, so the big rock is braked and you have smaller parts. These parts are always moving, they're always like tilting, always vibrating, and if you wanna push the bars here, it's just such a pain, and you can barely do it, right? So this is another problem which you can encounter where you're doing this stuff like this. But we need to do it, or we're gonna lose this part. The closer you get with your like zooming, you know, holding F and go closer to see it, the picture is moving more, right? And it's really pain to do this. So you really need to be like 100% accurate. So what I'm gonna do with this thing, I'm gonna try to detach it now, and I'm gonna try to put it on the different place, right? Where it's gonna be a little bit closer, so I don't have to zoom in so much, right? I'm detaching it now, and we're gonna place it now on the other position. And you see, even that is not so easy to do, to detach, to click the button. So now we're gonna place it somewhere here, and now actually it's gonna be like a little bit less requirement of moving these bars, because when you move it to other place, these all numbers are a little bit different, right? That's why if you cannot even put it on the full size rock, good, just change the position and that's it. And now we're back in our mall, and now we're gonna try to break it, right? So now we have two focuses on, we have stampede just in case, and now the severe gadget is on that piece. And now you're gonna see that we're gonna be able to push the bar up even without using stampede. You see, it's already going. So now this is like a proof that you can also put gadgets on the actual second breaks or pieces which are already braked once when it was the rock one whole thing, and now these smaller pieces you can also help yourself like that. But as you see, it was very difficult to set up this gadget, because every single time when the full rock is braked, these smaller parts are always vibrating or moving. And now you can see that I'm almost on the full power, pushing bar almost 100% to actually rise this up, but without using stampede, right? So it goes, it's not necessary to use it, but you need to be very careful, because instability of almost 140, what you can see on the right side, it's very high instability when you have pieces small like this, right? Because we have instabilities on the 150 tons rock which go over 700, 800, right, when the rock is one full thing. But as you see here, you know, it was pretty stable even if it was so high. So now we're gonna collect, right? So now we're going on that left laser, which I equipped with these filtering modules. And you need to know that mining heads like Host Fate, the default Arbor one which we're using here, they all have 40% already of filtering inert materials. And what I put on is two modules which each has 23% more, right? So this is 46% more, so this is 86% of filtering out inert materials from the rocks, right? So now I'm first scanning all of them, And we still have these two, which are very terrible, right, to break, but I didn't know if I'm gonna have enough space to collect all that material inside my ship, right? So you're already collecting, and you can just see this number is keep rising and rising, just continuum almost, right? So that's why these filtering modules are great, because it gives you that possibility that if you know that you have inert materials, you can not completely, but almost completely filtering them out. But if you wanna get like 100% uh, filtering these inert materials out, you need to use mining head like Impact for that, because Impact has also 40%. And if you add modules like these filtering modules on, which you can put 3 on the impact laser, because on the phosphate laser and the arbor laser you can put only 2. So with impact, with 3 slots, you're getting actually 109% of filtering. So basically you're filtering everything. And plus, impact has the fastest collection rate, right? So that's the perfect laser for collecting stuff, right? If you put these filtering modules on. So this is the best of the best. But you know, like if I'm collecting a little bit, it's not such a big deal for me. If I just put 2, it's good enough for me. But if you wanna have this completely filtering, impact laser is the way to go, in 3 of these filtering modules. And you don't have to use that 60k, which costs 60k, right? This is like 18k one, because it's only filtering 1% more, right? So it's just no point, right? Because you already have over 100%. So this is how this goes, right? And you can see here, I collected 60 SU of continuum. 60, not 20, not 30 or 45, it's 60 from one rock. And here you can see me, I'm grabbing the Sabir, because I already set up my ship to be in that position where I can grab it just from the ship. So I'm thinking on all the things already in front, so I have the smallest amount of time possible to spend, and not, you know, going out from ship if it's not actually necessary, right? So it's all kinds of things that you can do. But now we have one more problem. What happened? And this is that how I was, you see, like taking off and going to the station, to Obituary, and we were on PYRO 1, something happened. And no, it was not pirates, it was maybe something that is even worse. But we were really lucky, so I could get back. So what happened was the black screen. And now you're gonna see it. It's gonna be whole black. And now I was quickly tapping, you know, Alt F4 and going out from the game. And we are loading back in, and somehow reload actually very quickly. So I don't know, that was luck, or Chris Roberts give me a second chance, you know. But something it was that it was actually loading me pretty quickly, because it could take eternity usually, you know, when I get black screen. So we are back in the ship, and normally now we are jumping to Obituary from PYRO 1, and actually we're gonna get there pretty quickly. So we're already next to Obituary, and now almost one other thing happened, and this is that I almost crashed the ship, which was my fault. And what I forgot is that I put it on the cruise control. So I was slowing down, right? And actually I did that so many times, so I know exactly how to do it, but you see it pushed my ship more down, because it was still on cruise control. And I totally forgot about that. And I actually managed to not damage the ship somehow. So I just land and quickly store it. And guys, always store your ship from here. Don't go out in the actual outside consoles. And look when it's gonna be completely sealed with this middle inside hangar doors, and then go out, because you can get that repositioning player thing when you're getting in elevator, which is also a bug, or I don't know why it's doing that, but we get that so many times, and then you need to restart the game and do this and that and then try to get in back. So always store it from here. That's the rule for now. Good things about the refineries now is that from this main elevator where you're going to the hangar, you also have refinery. So just click refinery and you're instantly there. Now you're just following this sign shops and this arrow pointing to the right, and this is immediately where you get to your consoles. So on this or sales, you can directly, normally like in Stanton, sell or directly. And now watch how much that's going to be. So for direct selling, it's 737k. So you need to understand that that means that for refining, it's gonna be a double. So I have here like maybe between 1.2 to 1.4 million for a single run for solo mole mining. All refineries in Pyro have +2 bonus for quant, and in Stanton is +3 the maximum. So this is, you know, basically almost the same. So it's very great. But even with that, refinery is gonna take, as you see here, 8 ACU away, because we're getting 52, right? If we were having 60, we're getting 52. So this is how much we get, and you see all my auto orders. So this is first rounds that I make, all Continuum, little bit Aronet here. But yeah, I'm making millions. So, because this is what I do, and I really like mining. And somehow I always finding Continuum, and pretty fast, a lot of times. You know, I'm like that pig which is used for searching the tartuffe mushrooms, you know, that mushrooms that you can eat. So I can just smell it, and other players hate me because of that, because I can find it pretty fast. I hope that this all information is gonna help you guys, and that I can actually talk about my opinion, you know, about this short time that we spend in Pyro, and you know, trying to discover stuff and search for stuff. And it's a really great place. What is concerned how it looks, you know, they did such a great job with how the stations look, how the planets look, moons, all the locations is just crazy, you know. I don't know if you can see in some other games something like that. But you know, still gameplay, real gameplay is still far away, you know. We really need, you know, crafting and building. When this is gonna be in the game, this is gonna be nuts, you know. And then people who actually gonna mine and mine a lot gonna have very huge use of mining, because you're gonna be able to sell these rare materials, and then you're gonna make more money than you can make it now, right? Because now we're just mining for selling, for make money that way, so we can do anything else, right? It's just, you know, grind, and ores are just for selling to cities, you know, or on stations. And one more thing is that I was talking about here, selling, you know, when your stuff is refined in refineries, selling it later in, like, for example, cities, right? Cities are taking 32 SU boxes. And if you have smaller ship, it's gonna create smaller boxes, right? So you can sell also somewhere else. But this is only if you need to transfer manually. And sometimes if it's not gonna work auto selling, which is supposed to always work, you're gonna have problems with big boxes, right? Because you cannot sell them on some stations which are maybe closer to you, or and they're collecting like only 16 ASU boxes, for example. Then for auto selling, doesn't matter. But if you're selling like you're gonna manually transfer boxes, then you're gonna have problems. Because, you know, some stations, maybe also in Pyro or in Stanton, which is not cities, gonna give you bigger price. Normally everybody's gonna squeeze the most out of these ores when they're selling. But if that it's not going to work, which is, like I said, it's always supposed to work, but it's Star Citizen, you know, you never know what is going to happen. because usually before we could not sell always everything automatically. It needs to go manually, you know, transferring with tractor beams. Then you're gonna have problems, right? Because cities are taking 32, stations a lot of time only, you know, 16 or less. This is all from me, guys. If you have any type of questions, just ask me in the comments below, or you can join our Java Scrap Mining Corp Discord, which is more like industrial, you know, place, and but people, you know, playing and doing everything, you know, when they, especially when they're doing something on their own. And you can always ask things there, or you can always, you know, find me on my Twitch, where I'm basically, you know, live every day. And I hope you're all gonna have luck in Pyro, and you're gonna not have so much, you know, deaths and dying, not just from pirates, but from all other bugs and all other stupidities what it could happen, you know, like always in Star Cities. Stay safe, guys. Keep learning everything about mining, and I hope you're gonna make fortunes. So till the next time, see ya. Bye bye. And Happy New Year, everyone.